Hello everyone and welcome to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to do another sort of guide type video, and today I'm going to be doing it on Battlefront 2. Now, if you were like me when you first started, you're wondering, how do I level up my characters in the fastest way possible? Recently I have been leveling up all my characters up to 41. I believe the only ones I don't have are Finn, BB9E, and Phasma. Oh, I also don't have Bosk and Boba. But those are easy enough to level up. So I'll give you a few tips right now to level up, and then I'll kind of show you what my method is. So first off, you're going to be wanting to play the game not necessarily to get the most amount of kills or the most amount of, or the least amount of deaths. You just want the most amount of score possible, which tends to, like, especially in heroes versus villains, that tends to mean you're a lot more aggressive, especially with like characters such as Obi-Wan, where usually you would block like a ton as Obi-Wan. Second thing, you're going to be wanting to play on every Wednesday, because every Wednesday for this game, it's called Midweek Madness, they have an event either double XP or triple XP, and that goes a very long way, especially because you have certain things where, like, as, Obi-Wan, you only get, say, 10,000 a match. That's 20,000 or 30,000, which is a lot. Now, how to level up, I'm going to tell you right now, the fastest way to level up, especially if you're a new player, is with co-op. If you go into play co-op missions and then pick any of these, they have different characters. Depending on which one you do, you will be able to score points and then get a character. So let's do Galactic Empire, for example. Alright, so once you get into a match, first off, you want to pick a heavy. In my opinion, heavy is the best, just because it racks up points. I have the star cards, battle point increase, defeat an enemy with headshot, and all abilities have a shorter recharge time. Then you load into the game. Now, for maps, I would recommend anything that has an attack phase. So, for example, this map is not the best because it's defense. That means that you're going to want to let them take points. But what you're going to do is you're going to find the enemies. So, for example, I'm getting shot by rebels who are to my right, which I didn't realize. I'm going to die. And it's okay if you die, just so you know. As long as you get up to 4,000 battle points, which, if you look here, is how much they cost. So you're going to pick a character that you want to level up, and then you play as a heavy, and you just kind of rack up the points. One thing I would recommend is, especially if you're on attackers, is capturing points will get you 3,600. So don't pick a hero or villain character before you capture a point. Wait until you capture a point. You'll get a ton of battle points immediately, and then from there you can pick a character and keep respawning as it for a while. Also, I'm going to get into this a bit later once I have a character, but for characters, you want to pick what you think will get you the most amount of points. So, damn it, I was very close to having enough there, but no cigar. I'm actually going to pause until I have enough, so I'll be back. Alrighty then, so you are back, and, or I am back, and as you can see, I got up to 4,000 points. I'm going to pick Palpatine. Palpatine isn't a character I usually play in HVV because I'm not very good at it, but I did want to level him up. As you can see, I got him to level 46 because in co-op mode, he's actually incredibly easy. So I'm going to show you right now. What you want to do in co-op is you want to find large groups of enemies, such as where they spawn or something like that. For example, rebels spawn down here in this doorway. So what you're going to want to do is wait for them, get a large group of them, and then use your abilities that target large groups. So as you can see there, I just did a ton of damage. I think I just got, how many kills? Ow. I'm dying. But I got like a kill streak of 8, which is actually pretty good. This is most definitely a very fast way to level up your characters. Just use your abilities that have the most amount of things, and go from there. Usually, so if you're on defense, you're going to want to let them take points. That's usually the most effective way to get points when you're on defense. And when you're on attackers, obviously you just go through attackers like a god and just mow them down. Here's a large group of enemies. I'm just going to use this. I died, but As you can see, I did get quite a bit of points there. I'm up to 8k. So, obviously, that wasn't the best example because I died as Palpatine rather fast. But if you... I found that I got Palpatine extremely fast when I was doing it. So, I'm going to pause and then show you guys some other things. Alright, so we're back in the collection. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys some of the best maps for every character and the best ability to use. So, going in order, we have Boba Fett first, where obviously his rockets are incredibly impressive. I would use the ability where it's this one if it deals more damage, and then deals damage in a meter radius. I would use him in Galactic Empire, obviously on the map. What is it? Yavin 4. Yavin 4 is incredibly good. You were attackers, and in the last phase, you were doing incredibly well. Bosk, I would use him on, what's it called? The Separatist Alliance, or no, it's Galactic Empire, sorry, and then go for Tatooine Jabba's Palace. That is incredibly effective way of getting it. I believe you're the defenders, but as long as you let them go, like I got massive amounts of points with Bosk. Chewbacca, I would play him on the Galactic Republic, and on that I would go for the maps Felucia and Camino. In Camino, there's this doorway with a large group of enemies. You just walk straight once you've spawned. And on Felucia, you just power through. The very last stage of Felucia is incredibly important for him. Darth Vader, I leveled him up mostly through HVV. But if you want to level him up, I would recommend a map like Tatooine, where you're an attacker. And, Mos Eisley Tatooine, sorry. And, you know, some maps like that. The Emperor, I did the Emperor on the First Order, actually. And I believe the Jakku hangar map was incredibly good for Palpatine, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if you're defenders or not, but it's really good. Use his chain lightning ability to just absolutely destroy large groups of enemies. Han, obviously use him on the Rebel Alliance thing. Use his detonate charge to just absolutely massacre large groups of enemies, especially on is it Jabba's Palace? I think it's Jabba's Palace on Tatooine, because you're attackers. He's incredibly good. Iden, I found Iden incredibly easy to level up. I just played her for a few matches on the Empire, and I don't think this is a specifically good map for her. I remember Kessel was really good, if I remember correctly. Kylo, I also didn't level up through co-op, but his pull and freeze and frenzy make for incredible ways to mow through enemies. I don't know particular maps for him, but I'm sure you can find some good ones. Lando is actually much better than you'd think he would be. He has his sharp shot ability, and that lets you take down massive groups of enemies, especially on maps such as Tatooine, Jabba's Palace. Leia, I actually didn't think Leia was that easy to level up. It wasn't that hard. It was just slower than the rest. And I would say Leia, just use her blaster, rapid fire, and use her normal blaster. You can get through it fast. Luke, obviously use your push and your radius, your repulse, and use abilities that you think are right. For example, repulse, bonus damage, standing within half radius. He's incredibly good for taking out large groups of enemies. Maul, I don't know if there's a particularly good way for Maul, lightsaber throw and just choke and stuff like that. Rey, I didn't level up Rey there either. I would recommend using your rush and your insight and just mowing them down as fast as possible. God, sorry. Yoda, I would use on Galactic Republic, and I would just use his rush ability and repulse to just mow down some enemies. Finn obviously is on the what is this even called? The resistance side. I find that just about any map works for him as well. God, I'm inhaling my own spit. I'm sorry. I tend to find he's really good, especially with his LB ability, his Deadeye ability, and yeah, you can level him up pretty fast. Captain Phasma, obviously, just throw down your First Order Sentry Droid, and then just blast a bunch of enemies to death. It'll be pretty easy. General Grievous is amazing because he has his Claw Rush, so you can just massacre large groups of enemies as General Grievous if you want to. Obi-Wan is actually amazing in co-op, probably one of the best characters because he has his all-out push and defensive rush. But there's actually a second loadout I use here, which defensive rush lightsaber hits deal more damage. I have his all-out push, longer base range, and increased maximum health regeneration. I find that works the best. You just get a large group of enemies on like something like Camino or Felucia. Use your all-out push, boom, they die. Defensive rush, they also die in one hit. It's actually really amazing. Dooku, I tend to find co-op is actually worse for him, but I imagine you can pull off some stuff with him pretty easily. I would recommend leveling him on HVV. It's actually really easy. He's really good at lightsaber combat. Probably top 3 best heroes on HVV. Anakin, he's actually really amazing in co-op because he has his pull dominance, heroic might, and retribution. Those are the best. You tend to find on maps such as Geonosis he's really good. You just pull all the enemies towards you in the last stage, heroic might, and they die. You'll get your retribution decently fast, specifically just because you'll take a lot of blasters. BB-8 is actually really amazing because there's this one map, I forget what it is. There's this one chokehold point where you can just keep cable spinning and just eradicate your enemies. Also, HVV, really easy to level up if you know how to play BB-8. Obviously, BB-8 has a very aggressive play style. Cable spin's really amazing. BB-90, I haven't leveled up all the way, but I did find he was decently easy to level up in co-op as well. I believe I got like 30,000 points, and that was without double XP. And, you know, I feel like you could get BB-90 up pretty good. Just get a shock prod star card up. And that's basically it. That's all the main heroes and villains. It's all of the heroes and villains. And I find, as I said, co-op is the best way to do this. And obviously, you don't have to take this perfectly. You don't have to follow this perfectly. I would recommend heroes versus villains as well. It's an amazing way to level up characters. It's how I did it originally. I don't even believe co-op was a mode when I first started playing this game, which is why certain characters are much higher than others. Like, my blaster characters are all probably around 41 besides Han, I think, which is 46. But, for example, like, Darth Vader and Obi-Wan are in their 90s, and Kylo Ren and Anakin are in their hundreds, because these two were my mains originally, Anakin and Kylo, and then Obi-Wan and Darth Vader have become my mains nowadays. As you can see, they're basically tied in level. And yeah, that's a majorly fast way to level up. I think I could get, for example, as Chewbacca, I got 6 levels in one match on triple XP, which is incredible. Obviously, if you're at double XP, that would have been about 4, which is still incredible as well. For those of you that like large numbers, there you go. For those of you that are just starting and you want to get up to 25 so you can unlock all the star cards before you get into HVV, there you go. This is probably the easiest way to do it. I just recommend finding the star cards that deal the most amount of damage to the most amount of people, and going through that very well. I'd say the hardest are Finn, Phasma, BB-90, and someone like, I can't think of who else is pretty bad. Yoda and Rey are like meh. But yeah, I hope that was helpful to you. If it was, please drop a like, hit the sub button, and I'll see you in the next episode of some kind of guide or some kind of video. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.